I thought we had it all. I thought we were the perfect couple, the kind everyone envied. When I first met you, everything just clicked. I remember the first night we stayed up talking until the early hours, sharing dreams, talking about everything, and nothing. Your laugh, the way you listened to every word I said as if it mattered, the way you made me feel like I wasn't just another face in the crowd, but someone important, someone worth caring about. That night felt like the beginning of forever, and for a while it was. Our mornings together, sipping coffee in that little kitchen, planning our weekends, talking about the future. We were building something real. You, always telling me how much you loved me, how I was your everything, and I believed it. I didn't even think twice. How could I? You made it so easy to believe. I remember thinking to myself, I'd found the person who would always have my back. I told myself that no matter what came our way, we would face it together. I even started to imagine our lives like an endless road stretching out before us, no bumps, no detours, just smooth sailing ahead. But slowly, things started to change. At first, it was so small, so insignificant, I almost didn't notice. The late nights at work, the quiet dinners where you'd get lost in your phone, scrolling through something I couldn't see. I brushed it off. You were just busy, right? You had your own life too, and that was okay. But then there were the silences, the long pauses in conversations where you used to be so engaged, so present. And I remember the way you started looking at me differently, like you were seeing me for the first time but not really seeing me. It was the little things. The way you'd get irritated when I asked you something simple, like when we'd be able to spend time together again. You'd tell me to relax, that I was being too needy. I felt foolish for asking, so I stopped. But even then, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to face it. I couldn't. The thought of it, of you drifting away, was unbearable. I told myself it was nothing, that everything was fine, that we were just going through a phase. You'd snap out of it, and we'd be back to how we used to be. I remember one night sitting on the couch, waiting for you to come home. The clock ticked, and I felt this knot in my stomach. It was getting late. You hadn't called, hadn't texted, nothing. I should have been angry. I should have been. But all I felt was this suffocating feeling in my chest, like I was slowly suffocating, like I had already lost you but didn't know it yet. I tried to push it away. I tried to tell myself that everything would be fine. You'd walk in the door with that smile of yours, and we'd laugh, and everything would go back to normal. It had to. But then, when you did walk in, I saw it. It was like you didn't even notice me. You didn't smile like you used to. You didn't even look at me the way you used to. You were distracted, distant. And I told myself I was imagining it. I tried to tell myself that it didn't matter. But deep down, I knew something had changed. Something was different, and I wasn't sure I could fix it. But I couldn't admit it to myself. Not yet. I wasn't ready to face the truth. The truth was too hard to swallow. That maybe, just maybe, things weren't perfect anymore. That maybe we were drifting apart. So I smiled. I kept pretending. I kept holding on to the illusion of us. Because I didn't know how to let go. I didn't know who I'd be without you. You were my everything, and I was terrified of the idea that we might not be forever after all. But a part of me, deep down, knew that something was breaking. And it wasn't just the distance between us. It was the space I was starting to feel inside my own chest. Something was slipping away, and I didn't know how to stop it. But I couldn't think about that. Not yet. Not when I was still clinging to the hope that maybe I was wrong. I just hoped it wasn't too late. It started off small. I didn't notice at first, or maybe I didn't want to. You were coming home late more often. Not hours late, but just enough to make me wonder. Just enough to make me feel like I should say something, but I never did. Instead, I told myself, you were just busy. You'd been working harder, your job was stressful. I could handle it. I could be patient. You always told me how important our time together was, how much you loved me. I kept convincing myself that nothing had changed. But then, it was the little things. You stopped sending me those good morning texts that used to brighten my day. The ones that always made me feel like you were thinking about me before anything else. Those little I love you messages, they just stopped. And when I asked you about it, you just shrugged it off, saying you were tired or you had too much on your plate. I let it slide. Maybe I was just being too sensitive. But deep down, something felt wrong. I tried to push it away, but then I noticed the change in the way you spoke to me. The tone of your voice when you asked about my day wasn't the same. You seemed distracted, almost irritated, as if it was a chore. You used to want to hear every detail. I remember how you used to laugh when I told you about the small things. My annoying coworker, what I had for lunch. You'd laugh like it mattered. But now you just nodded and went back to whatever you were doing. Sometimes you wouldn't even look me in the eye. I wasn't sure if I was imagining it or if I had just grown paranoid. Then it happened. I found the text. I'd gone into your jacket pocket to grab your keys because you were running late, as usual, and there it was, your phone face down buzzing. At first, I almost ignored it, but something made me stop. Something in the back of my mind whispered, check it. I told myself I was being ridiculous. You had your privacy, but I picked it up anyway just to glance at the screen. It was a message. From her. Can't wait to see you tonight. Same place? My heart sank. I felt like the air was sucked out of the room. I couldn't breathe. I stared at those words, willing myself to make sense of them, to tell myself they didn't mean what they obviously did. But there was no denying it. Same place. I knew that place. I recognized the name. It was the spot you always went to for business meetings. I had never doubted you before. But now, it felt like the ground had just crumbled beneath me. I put the phone back quickly, but my hands were shaking. I couldn't move, couldn't think. I didn't know what to do, or if I should even confront you. Maybe I was wrong, maybe it wasn't. What it looked like. Maybe I was just being paranoid, overthinking things. But I couldn't ignore it. I couldn't just let it go. When you finally came home, you smiled at me. But it felt different. Like you were forcing it. I wanted to scream at you to demand the truth. But I couldn't. Instead, I just watched you, waiting for the right moment. When you headed for the kitchen, I followed you. I saw the text, I said, my voice coming out hoarse, barely a whisper. You froze. For a moment, your face betrayed you, just a flicker of panic, quickly covered by a calm smile. What text? You asked like you didn't know. But I knew. I knew exactly what I had seen. I swallowed hard, fighting back the lump in my throat. From her. The message about tonight. What's going on? You looked at me for a long moment, your eyes darting to the floor, then back to me. It's nothing. You're overreacting. I told you, I've been stressed. That's all. But it didn't make sense. The way you were avoiding my eyes, the way your voice cracked, it wasn't nothing. You're lying, I said, my voice shaking now, a mix of fear, anger, and confusion. I know what I saw. You took a step back, running your hand through your hair. I swear, it's nothing. You're just imagining things. I couldn't take it anymore. I needed the truth, but you weren't giving it to me. You were defending yourself with such calm, like you believed you could talk your way out of it, like I didn't know the pain in my own heart. You've been seeing her, haven't you? There was silence, long and heavy. You wouldn't say it. You didn't need to. The look in your eyes told me everything. Please just tell me, I begged. But you didn't. You just stood there, your face unreadable, avoiding my gaze, and that was it. That was the moment I realized I didn't matter to you the way I thought I did. The crack had formed, and no matter how hard I tried to ignore it, the truth was there, staring at me, cold and sharp. I was losing you. The worst part? I didn't even know how to fight for us anymore. I didn't know what was left to save. I can't stop thinking about it. The text, her name flashing on the screen, that innocent little, can't wait to see you tonight, like it was just a casual message. But I know it wasn't. I've replayed those words over and over in my head, turning them over like a stone I can't put down. Each time I think I'm starting to breathe again, the anxiety rushes back in. I keep telling myself it doesn't matter. Maybe I misinterpreted things. Maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions. But I can't stop obsessing. I keep thinking about every little thing that happened before. Every moment I thought was normal. Every time you told me you loved me and I believed it. But was it a lie? Were we just going through the motions, pretending everything was fine while you were already planning something else? I'm a mess. I know I am. Every time I try to focus on something else, it comes back to that text, that message. I've tried to push it away, but it keeps pulling me back, like gravity. I lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, every look, every conversation. The way you would smile at me and then look away like you couldn't even stand to look at me for too long. Why did I miss it? Why didn't I see it sooner? I find myself questioning everything. Was I not good enough? Was I not attentive enough? Did I do something wrong? Maybe I didn't love you the right way. Maybe I was too focused on everything else, too busy trying to build a life with you instead of noticing the signs that were right in front of me. The distance, the late nights, the excuses. Why didn't I see it? I thought we were happy. I thought I was enough. But maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was just so wrapped up in wanting to believe in us, in the perfect version of what we had, that I ignored the cracks forming around us. I try to keep it together. I try to keep going, to smile when you're home, to pretend everything is fine, but it's not. Every word you say feels like a lie. Every touch, every kiss. It's all laced with doubt now. And I can't stop myself from wondering, what if this is it? What if this is how it ends? What if I'm just too late? I can't talk to you. I already did that and you just shut me down. I tried to ask you the questions to get the truth, but you just kept brushing it off, acting like it was nothing. You're not even trying to fix this. You're not even trying to care. The weight of it presses on me every single moment. I go through the motions, trying to get through the day. But I feel like I'm drowning. I can't breathe. By the time I pick up the phone to call Sarah, I'm already a mess. I can hear her voice on the other end, calm and familiar. She's always been the one I could turn to when I didn't know what to say. "Hey, what's up?" she says, her tone light, like nothing's wrong. But I can't hold it in anymore. I choke out the words, my throat tight, the tears already welling up. "Sarah, I think he's cheating on me. I don't know what to do." There's a long pause on the other end of the line. I can't see her, but I can feel her processing the words I just said. "Tell me what happened," she finally says. Her voice is steady, but I hear the concern underneath it. I explain everything. The text, the late nights, the way I feel like I'm going crazy trying to piece it all together. I tell her about how I tried to confront him, how he just brushed it off like it was nothing. I can't stop myself from crying now. The tears are just there, like they've been waiting for permission to fall. When I finally finish, there's a long silence on her end. I wait, but I can't take the quiet. I feel like I'm falling apart, and I need something, anything, to hold on to. "You need to stop," she says, her voice sharp. I blink. "What?" "You need to stop punishing yourself. This isn't about you. You didn't do anything wrong." There's an edge in her voice now, something firm. "You can't keep blaming yourself for something you can't control. If he's doing this to you, that's on him, not you." Her words hit me harder than I expected. I want to argue, to tell her she doesn't understand. But deep down, I know she's right. I've been so wrapped up in my mistakes, my fears, and my guilt that I haven't stopped to realize something. This is his choice, not mine. He's the one who's breaking this, not me. "You're right," I whisper, my voice cracking. "I just don't know how to let go." "You don't have to figure it all out right now," she says softly. "But you have to stop drowning in the what-ifs. You have to stop spinning yourself out. You deserve better than this." I close my eyes, feeling the weight of her words. I know she's right. I know it. But it's hard. It's hard to let go when all I've ever wanted was him. But I also know I can't keep doing this to myself. I need to find a way out of this spiral, out of this suffocating fear and self-doubt. I don't know if I can fix this, I say quietly. You don't have to fix it, she says. You just need to take care of yourself. I close my eyes, holding on to her words, and for the first time in what feels like forever, I let myself breathe. Maybe, just maybe, I can start healing. I was not prepared for this. I don't think anyone ever is, no matter how much they suspect. No matter how many times they've considered the possibility, the actual moment of betrayal, when you see the evidence laid out in front of you, is a shock to the system. It's a punch to the gut that leaves you breathless, gasping for air. Found it when I wasn't even looking for it. Maybe that's the worst part. I should have stayed away from your phone. I should have given you the privacy you kept insisting on, but I couldn't. I couldn't just sit here anymore, pretending that everything was fine, pretending that I didn't feel the distance growing between us every single day. So, when you left your phone on the kitchen counter while you ran out to take a call, I told myself I wasn't going to do anything stupid. But my fingers betrayed me, and before I knew it, I was scrolling through the messages. I found the texts. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding, my breath catching in my throat. There was no denying it. The words were there, staring back at me like a slap in the face. I can't wait to see you tonight. Same place? I had seen those words before, right? I had read them in your phone, the night I first found out. Her name was there again, just like before. And there it was, the same hotel name, the same casual, intimate tone. I should have stopped. I should have closed the phone and walked away. But I couldn't. I kept reading, my eyes darting from one message to the next. And then, I saw the pictures. No, I didn't need to see them. I didn't need to feel my stomach churn and my chest tighten. But there they were, undeniable proof of your betrayal. A picture of you two together, laughing, close, in a way I had never seen between us. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. My head was spinning. I couldn't think. I stood there frozen. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the phone, to break something, to feel something that wasn't this awful numbness spreading through me. But I didn't. I just stared at the screen, my thoughts crashing together like waves in a storm. How long had this been going on? How many nights had I been lying in bed next to you, not knowing what you were doing behind my back? How many times had you lied to me, kissed me, told me you loved me, knowing you were seeing her? Knowing you were betraying me? I couldn't process it. I couldn't. My thoughts were a blur of disbelief and anger, each one fighting for dominance. How could you do this to me? I whispered to myself, but it felt like I was whispering to a ghost. You weren't even here. I gripped the phone tightly, not knowing what to do. I felt like I was losing my mind. I felt like the ground was falling away beneath me, and I couldn't stop it. I was so angry. Angry at you, angry at her, angry at myself for not seeing it sooner, for being so blind to the signs. I could barely keep my thoughts straight. My chest was tight, my throat felt raw, and all I could hear was the blood rushing in my ears. I needed to do something. I couldn't just stand here. I couldn't pretend I hadn't seen it. I couldn't pretend this wasn't happening. I almost picked up the phone and called you, but my hands were shaking too much. My mind was screaming, telling me to wait, telling me to think this through. But there was no thinking, not right now. There was just the flood of emotions, rage, sadness, disbelief, crashing over me, dragging me under. I slammed the phone down on the counter, feeling like I was going to break. But I didn't. I was still here, and I wasn't just going to sit in this misery and let it consume me. I couldn't confront you now. Not like this. I wasn't ready to hear your lies. I wasn't ready for the excuses, the fake apologies. I wasn't ready for you to try to explain it away like it was nothing, but I wasn't going to sit here and let you destroy me either. I paced the room, my hands clenched into fists. Part of me wanted to confront you right now, throw everything in your face, and demand answers. But I knew it wasn't the right time. I wasn't prepared for the fight that would follow. I wasn't prepared for the words you'd say to try to make this my fault. I needed to think. I needed to plan. I stood by the counter, my mind racing. I needed something more. I needed more than the texts, the pictures. I needed the truth. But I also needed control. I had to regain some control over my life, over this situation that felt like it was spiraling out of my hands. What do I do now? Couldn't think of one clear path forward. Part of me wanted revenge, wanted to hurt you the way you hurt me. But another part of me, the better part, knew that wasn't going to fix anything. It would just tear me apart more. It would destroy what little I had left of myself. So I did the only thing I could do. I walked away, not physically, but mentally. I needed to get out of this emotional whirlpool I was in. I needed to step back and make a choice. What would I do? Would I confront you? Would I fight for the truth? Or would I let you destroy everything and walk away, leaving us both broken? I didn't know yet, but I had to figure it out, for my sake, for my peace, and whatever decision I made, it was going to be one that I controlled. Not you, not her. Just me. I don't know what I was expecting when I saw you walk through the door that evening. I had all the evidence, all the proof right in front of me, but I still didn't know how to begin. I stood there, frozen for a second, watching you put your keys down and take off your coat, just like every other night. But tonight wasn't like every other night. Tonight, everything was going to change. "You're home late," I said, my voice colder than I meant it to be. I couldn't stop myself. The words were sharp, cutting through the tension that had been building all day. You looked up, confused, but your eyes darted away from mine too quickly. "Yeah, work ran late," you muttered, running your hand through your hair. "Is that what's been happening all this time?" I asked, crossing my arms over my chest. "Late nights? Excuses?" You looked at me, still pretending like everything was normal. "What's going on, babe? Why are you being like this?" I didn't know if I could hold it together much longer. "I saw the text messages," I said, my voice low but steady. "I wasn't going to let you spin this. Not this time." I saw her name. I saw everything. The pictures. The same place. Messages. I watched you stiffen. You didn't say anything right away. For a moment, I thought you might deny it, like I was some kind of fool who didn't know what was right in front of me. But instead, you took a deep breath and tried to avoid my gaze. "Look, I didn't mean for it to happen, okay?" You said, it so quietly, as if I wouldn't hear the guilt in your voice. "It's not what you think. You have to understand." "Understand?" I interrupted, my anger flaring up like a wildfire. "What's there to understand exactly? That you've been sleeping with someone else? That everything I thought we had was a lie? You're sorry now? Is that supposed to make me feel better?" You flinched, but you didn't stop. "I didn't want to hurt you. You don't know how hard it's been for me, too. I wasn't getting what I needed from you. We've been distant for months now. I didn't know how else to cope." "Cope?" I repeated, the word tasting bitter on my tongue. "By betraying me? By going behind my back? You don't get to blame me for what you did." "I never meant for this to happen," you almost shouted, your voice breaking. "It just happened. And I'm so sorry. But you have to understand, I never stopped loving you." I couldn't listen to the lies anymore. I was shaking with rage. "Don't you dare say that. Don't you dare tell me you love me when you've been with her. You're telling me you couldn't find another way. You couldn't talk to me?" You looked down, your eyes flicking nervously, and for the first time, I saw it. Guilt. Real guilt, mixed with shame. It was a moment of clarity for me. This wasn't just about betrayal, this was about manipulation, about you getting what you wanted at the expense of my trust. "I made a mistake," you said quietly, finally meeting my gaze. "A huge one. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I need you to know. I never wanted to lose you." I took a step back, the weight of your words crushing me. "But you did. You've already lost me. I can't just forget this." I can't act like everything's fine when I know what you've done. There was silence between us, heavy and suffocating. I could feel my chest tighten as I struggled to breathe. So, what now? I finally asked, my voice barely above a whisper. What am I supposed to do with this? With you? You looked desperate now, pacing the floor. I'll do anything. Please, just don't leave me. I'm sorry. Please. Don't walk away from us. But I couldn't let myself be swept back in by the desperation in your voice. I'd been here before, listening to your apologies, watching you promise things would change, only for them to fall apart again. I don't know if I can stay, I said, the words feeling like acid in my mouth. How do I ever trust you? Again? How do I ever believe that any of us was real? You can't just give up on everything we've built, you pleaded. You can't just throw away all the good we've had. I've made mistakes, but I can change. I can make it right. I felt like I was being suffocated, and I needed air. I needed space. Maybe it's too late, I whispered, even though I wasn't sure if I meant it or not. The thought of leaving, of starting over, seemed impossible. But I couldn't stay and pretend everything was okay. You reached for me, but I took a step back. No, don't, I said, my voice shaking. I need to think. I need to figure out what I want. I didn't want to give you an answer right now. I didn't want to make any promises I couldn't keep. I can't forgive you right now, I said, the words coming out colder than I intended. I need time. And you? I paused, trying to find the strength to finish. You need to figure out who you are without me. You looked crushed, but I didn't feel the same way I thought I would. I thought I would feel guilty for being so harsh. But instead, I felt a strange kind of relief, like I had finally found my voice in the middle of all this chaos. You didn't say anything else. You just nodded, and I turned away, my heart still heavy, but a little lighter than before. The confrontation was over, but the war inside of me was just beginning. I still didn't know what I was going to do. But for the first time, I wasn't sure it mattered. I was starting to see what was really at stake. And maybe, just maybe, it wasn't just about saving us. It was about saving me. The silence in the house feels different now. It's heavier, like a weight pressing down on me. But I don't mind it anymore. I don't feel suffocated by it, the just way I used to. It's almost freeing. Every day since the confrontation, I've felt this strange shift inside me. Something is changing. Something is changing. And for the first time, I feel like I have some control over it. I wake up in the mornings now, and instead of feeling that knot in my stomach, I feel a spark of something. It's not quite hope yet, but it's close. I walk into the kitchen, and I don't think about you first. I think about me. How I'm going to make my coffee, what I'm going to wear, what I want to do today. It's small, but it feels big. It's a small act of taking back my life. I've started seeing friends more. I didn't realize how long it's been since I spent time with them, really. Before, I was so wrapped up in us, in making everything perfect for our life, that I forgot I had my own. I forgot that I'm allowed to have a life outside of this mess. Hey, we're meeting at the usual place. You in? Sarah's voice comes through the phone, and for a second, I almost forget what it's like to have a simple night out. I pause. Do I even want to? Yeah, I say, surprising myself. I'll be there. It feels good to say it. To make a choice that's not based on trying to fix someone else's mistakes. That night, when I walk into the bar, something feels different. The air doesn't feel heavy like it used to, like every eye in the room was watching me, judging me for whatever was happening at home. Now, I feel like I can breathe, like I belong here. My friends greet me, and I laugh, really laugh, for the first time in what feels like forever. Sarah raises her glass. You look good. I can't remember the last time you actually smiled like that. I guess I've been figuring things out, I say, and the words surprise me. It's true, though. I am figuring things out. I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm no longer afraid of asking the questions. The night is a blur of laughter, music, and an escape I didn't realize I needed. I don't think about you once. For the first time in months, it's just me. It feels like the world is wide open again. But then the moment comes. When I'm lying in bed, the quiet of the house wrapping around me, I wonder, what do I really want now? Do I want to stay? Can I even look at you without remembering what you did? I can feel the pull of my own uncertainty. There's a part of me that's still here, still waiting, still hoping you'll change. I've seen the guilt in your eyes, heard your promises, and part of me wants to believe that we can fix this. But the other part, the part that's starting to wake up, doesn't want to wait anymore. I think of the kids. What about them? Would leaving mean abandoning them? Would I be selfish to choose my own peace, to choose me? I don't know. But I do know that I can't live in this constant state of limbo. I can't keep pretending that everything will be okay when every part of me is screaming that it won't be. The truth is, I've spent so much time fighting for us that I've forgotten who I am. I've forgotten what it feels like to be me, to stand on my own 2 feet without worrying about holding everything together. And for the first time in months, I don't want to lose myself again. I deserve more than this, I whisper to myself. And it's like a weight lifts off my chest. I do deserve more. I deserve respect. I deserve love. I deserve trust. It's hard. I'm not going to pretend it's easy. The thought of leaving you, leaving us, is still terrifying. I still love you. I always will. But I also love myself. Enough to know that I can't keep living like this. And maybe, just maybe, I'm ready to let go. The decision isn't clear yet, but I feel the shift in me. I'm no longer a victim of what you did. I'm starting to be someone who can choose their own path, and for the first time in forever, I feel like I can finally breathe without holding my breath for something that's never going to come. Maybe I don't need you to fix everything. Maybe I just need to fix me. The next morning, when I wake up, I don't think about you first. I think about me, about what I need, about what's going to make me feel whole again. And even though I don't know what's next, I know I'm going to find a way to get there. For the first time, I feel like I have control again, and that's more than I could have asked for. I've been watching you for weeks now, not physically, but in the way you carry yourself. It's different. You're quieter, more withdrawn. I can feel the weight of your guilt without you saying a word. And honestly, I'm starting to enjoy it. There's no yelling, no dramatic confrontations. I don't need to do that anymore. You've already done the damage. I'm not interested in revenge that leaves me feeling worse. I'm interested in the kind of satisfaction that comes from just watching you crumble. It's strange, isn't it? The way things change. A few weeks ago, you were so confident, so sure of yourself. And now? You're avoiding me. You're staying out later, your excuse is thinner than before. I don't even need to ask anymore. I already know what's happening. Or should I say, what's not happening? You and her? It's over. And I know it. The other night, I overheard you on the phone. You thought I was asleep, but I was wide awake, lying there, feeling the distance between us grow like a canyon. Your voice was low, tense, and I could hear the frustration in your words. You were pleading with her, saying you missed her, but the crack in your tone, the way you stumbled over your words, it was obvious. It was falling apart, and I wasn't surprised. Look, I can't do this anymore, I heard you say. We can't keep sneaking around like this. I've lost everything, and I'm not going to lose you too. But she wasn't listening. I didn't have to hear her side of the conversation to know it was done. The affair partner had already started pulling away. I could feel it. And you, desperate as ever, were trying to salvage something that wasn't worth saving. I could have confronted you then, but I didn't. I just let it unfold. I didn't need to say anything to you. The situation was already speaking for itself. Next few days felt strange. You were quieter at home, distant. When you came in, you avoided my eyes. When I tried to talk to you, your answers were short. And when you thought I wasn't paying attention, you would sigh as if the weight of it all was finally starting to crush you. Everything okay? I asked one evening, though I knew the answer. It felt almost comical now, how I was pretending, even for a moment, that we could ever go back to the way we were. Yeah, just tired, you mumbled, rubbing the back of your neck. I could see the lie written across your face, but I didn't push it. You were already unraveling, and I didn't need to force the thread. At some point, I stopped caring about your excuses. It wasn't about you anymore. It was about me. Watching you flounder, watching the house you'd built with your lies start to collapse. It was strangely satisfying. I wasn't angry anymore, not in the way I thought I'd be. Instead, I felt a kind of calm. It was karmic justice, watching you lose control of everything you'd taken for granted. You'd stolen my trust, shattered it into pieces, and now you were feeling the cost. It was a quiet revenge, one that didn't need me to raise my voice or throw things in your face. It was in the way you stumbled, the way you couldn't keep the facade up anymore. A week later, you tried to make it right. You sat down at the kitchen table, your face drawn, your eyes tired. I had just gotten home from meeting friends, feeling lighter than I had in ages. I could see you waiting for me to say something, anything that would show I still cared. "I've made a huge mistake," you said, your voice small. "I can't keep doing this. I need you. Please." "I'm sorry." For a moment, I felt a flicker of something. A small part of me wanted to believe you, wanted to believe that maybe you were finally seeing the damage you'd caused. But then I remembered everything. The lies, the secrecy, the way you made me feel like I was going crazy while you were out there with someone else. "Sorry?" I repeated, looking at you with an almost empty gaze. "Is that supposed to make this better? What do you want me to do? Forgive you?" You flinched, as though the words had stung. "I've been an idiot. I'll do whatever it takes to fix this. I promise. We can go to therapy. I can cut her out of my life, whatever you need." I didn't know if I wanted to laugh or cry. Fix this? You'd already broken it beyond repair. I stood there, looking at you, feeling nothing but a strange sense of calm. "It's too late," I said, almost gently, though it felt like an earthquake beneath my feet. "I'm not your fixer. I can't do this for you." You looked at me, desperation in your eyes. "But we have so much history. We've been through so much together. Don't you care about that?" I didn't answer at first. What could I say? Yes, I cared. I cared about the person I thought you were. I cared about the life we'd built together. But it wasn't enough. Not anymore. "I used to care," I said, my voice quieter now. "But now I care about me." I could see the moment of realization hit you. You were on the verge of breaking down, and for once, I didn't feel pity. I felt free. You looked at me. Lost. "You're just going to leave me?" I didn't answer right away. I didn't need to. The silence was enough. I could feel the shift, the power returning to me. "No," I said finally, with as much finality as I could muster. "I'm going to live for myself. I'm going to choose me now." You didn't say anything else. The rest of the evening passed in a fog, but I knew something had shifted. I had taken back my life. You weren't the man I married anymore, and I wasn't the woman I used to be. But I was going to be okay. For the first time in so long, I felt like I could breathe again. I stood there, staring at the door. It was the same door I'd passed through every day for years, the one that used to feel like home. But now it felt like a threshold I couldn't cross. I wasn't sure if I was about to leave or if I was simply standing there, waiting for something that would never come. I thought about everything we'd been through. The late-night talks, the laughter, the way you used to hold me after a long day. I remembered the way we once fit together so perfectly, like we were two halves of the same whole. But now, I wasn't sure we even knew each other anymore, and I had to make a choice. Was I going to walk away, or was I going to stay and keep pretending everything could go back to the way it was? The decision seemed simple on the surface, but deep down, I felt torn. I loved you. I still did. Part of me always would. But love wasn't enough to fix what you'd broken. You'd betrayed me, and I couldn't just forget that. Are you going somewhere? Your voice broke the silence. I turned to see you standing in the doorway, looking at me with that familiar, unreadable expression. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to scream at you, to ask how you could do this to me, how you could pretend everything was fine after what you'd done. But I didn't. I just took a deep breath, letting the weight of everything settle over me. I don't. No, I said softly. I've been trying to figure that out. You took a step closer, hesitating for a moment. Look, I know I messed up. I'm sorry. I've said it before. But I'll keep saying it if it means you'll stay. I shook my head, feeling a lump rise in my throat. It's not just about saying sorry anymore. My voice caught. You took something from me. Something I can't get back. You flinched at my words. I know. You whispered. I never meant to hurt you. You have to believe that. I used to believe you, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. But I can't keep living in a lie. I can't keep pretending that everything's okay when it's not. You broke my trust, and I don't know if I can ever get that back. You stepped closer, your voice pleading now. Please don't leave. I can fix this. We can fix this together. I stared at you for a long moment, and for a second, I saw the person I had fallen in love with. But then, the reality of everything flooded back, and I felt my heart harden. I don't know if I want to fix it, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if I can. The silence that followed was heavy, but I didn't look away. I didn't want to. This was it. This was the moment where I finally stopped holding on to the past and let go. I've spent so much time trying to make this work, I said, my voice breaking. I've held on to you for so long, hoping things would go back to how they used to be. But I can't do it anymore. I can't keep waiting for you to be the person I thought you were. You were silent for a moment, your eyes never leaving mine. I don't want to lose you, you finally said, your voice full of regret. I don't want to lose you either, I said quietly. But I can't keep sacrificing myself just to keep this together. I've lost myself in trying to fix something that's already broken. For a moment, we just stood there, the weight of everything between us. I could feel the tears threatening to fall, but I held them back. I had cried enough. This wasn't about sadness anymore. This was about strength. I think it's time for both of us to move on, I said. I've tried for so long to hold on, but I've realized something. I can't be the only one fighting for us. I can't carry this burden anymore. You opened your mouth like you were going to say something, but then you stopped. You just stood there looking at me, the reality of what I was saying settling in. I need to let you go, I whispered. For me. For my peace. Your eyes softened, but you didn't speak. And that's when I realized, for the first time in months, that I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't even sad. I was free. The weight of all that had been holding me down. The resentment, the heartbreak, the constant fear of what would happen next began to lift. And with that, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. I'll be okay, I said, mostly to myself. I just need to take care of me now. You nodded slowly, like you understood. You didn't try to stop me. You didn't argue. You just stood there, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was begging for something that wasn't coming. I took a deep breath and walked past you, feeling the air around me shift. As I reached the door, I paused, one last glance at the life I was leaving behind. I didn't know what was ahead of me. I didn't know if I'd ever love again, or if I'd ever fully heal from this. But I knew one thing. I was walking away. From the past, and for the first time, it felt like the right thing to do. I opened the door, stepped outside, and closed it behind me. And that was it. The end. I woke up this morning with a feeling I hadn't had in a long time. Peace. It wasn't some fleeting emotion that would fade as soon as the day started. It was something solid, something real. I hadn't realized how much I'd been holding on to until I felt the weight lift. For the first time in months, I didn't feel the constant ache in my chest. The kind of ache that comes with betrayal, with unanswered questions, with a love that isn't returned the way you want. I thought I'd never get past it. I thought I'd be forever tangled in the aftermath of everything that happened. But here I am, standing on the other side of it, and I feel free. I stare at my reflection in the mirror as I get ready for the day. My hair's a little longer, my eyes a little brighter, and my shoulders, they're no longer weighed down by the constant tension that had built up over the years. I look different. I feel different. Morning. Sarah's voice comes through, the phone, bright and full of life. How are you feeling today? Good, I reply, my lips curling into a smile. Actually, I feel really good, she laughs. That's the best thing I've heard all week. You deserve it. I nod, even though she can't see me. I think I finally get it. I've been holding on to something for so long that I forgot what it felt like to just be me. Exactly, Sarah says. You've been so focused on saving something that wasn't yours to fix. It's about time you saved yourself. I pause at her words, letting them sink in. She's right. I've been so caught up in trying to fix the relationship, trying to salvage a love that had already died, that I forgot about the person I was before all of this. It feels strange, but in a good way. Like I've been released from a weight I never knew was there. There's a freedom in that realization, in knowing that the person I've become through all of this is strong enough to walk away from the past and step into something new. Something mine. Do you want to do something today? I ask her, suddenly realizing how much I've missed these simple, carefree moments with my friends. Absolutely. Let's grab lunch. I'll meet you at noon. Sounds perfect. We hang up and I head out, my heart light. I'm not thinking about him. I'm not thinking about the mess of our marriage. All of that is behind me now. What's ahead is unknown. But that's okay. I'm no longer afraid of the unknown. At lunch, I catch myself laughing more than I have in a long time. I talk about everything and nothing at the same time, and it feels good to just be present, to be fully in the moment. I'm rediscovering pieces of myself I thought were lost forever. I can't believe how much you've changed, Sarah says as we finish up our meal. You seem lighter, happier. I am, I reply honestly. I didn't even know how much I was carrying until I let it go. She smiles, reaching over to squeeze my hand. You're going to be just fine, you know. This is the start of something new. And she's right. It is a new beginning. A beginning where I'm not weighed down by someone else's mistakes or their decisions. I'm not carrying the burden of their actions anymore. I'm walking away from that, and I'm walking toward something that's mine. Later that day, I sit alone in my apartment, and for the first time in a long while, I'm not afraid of the silence. The space feels mine again, not filled with tension or resentment. It's just me, and I'm learning that that's more than enough. I think about the future. Maybe I'll meet someone new one day, but I don't need to. I'm not looking for validation or someone to make me feel whole. I'm already whole. And if I choose to share that with someone again, it will be because I want to, not because I need to. I'm taking control of my life now. I'm rediscovering the things I love, the things that make me feel alive, and I'm moving forward with clarity and strength. I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean letting someone back in who doesn't deserve that space. It means releasing the anger, releasing the pain, and freeing myself from the past. The door is open now. I don't know exactly what's on the other side, but for the first time in forever, I'm walking through it with no fear, with my head held high, and my heart open to whatever comes next. And that's enough for me. It's strange, isn't it? The way things can change so completely, so quickly. One day, everything feels like it's falling apart, and the next, you're standing on the other side of the wreckage, realizing that it wasn't the end at all. It was just the beginning. I've thought about this moment a lot, thought about how I would feel once it was all over, once the dust had settled. But I didn't know it would feel like this. I didn't know it would feel like I could finally breathe again, like I was finally seeing the world clearly. The weight is gone. The anger, the resentment, all of it, I'm finally free of it. I spent so much time blaming myself. So much time wondering if it was my fault, if I could have done something differently. If I could have been better, or more attentive, or somehow prevented what happened. But here's the truth. None of that was on me. I gave everything I had. I loved with everything I was. But love can't fix betrayal. Love can't fix someone else's choices. And in the end, that was the hardest lesson to learn. I used to think we'd be forever, I whisper to myself, sitting here in the quiet of the apartment. It's almost ironic, really. The same space that once held so much pain now feels peaceful. It feels like mine. And for the first time, I can feel myself letting go. It wasn't easy. It hasn't been easy. I can still feel the echoes of everything that happened, the sting of the lies, the hollow ache of trusting someone who didn't deserve it. But I've learned something important. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to say enough is enough, and choose yourself. I used to think that walking away from you meant giving up on us. But now, I see it differently. It was me walking toward myself, toward who I was before I got lost in your lies. It was me deciding that I deserve better. Deserving of love, respect, and honesty. It was about reclaiming my life. I've been thinking a lot about forgiveness. I thought I needed to forgive you for my own peace. But I've realized that forgiveness isn't something I owe you. It's something I give to myself. I'm not forgiving you because you deserve it. I'm forgiving you because I deserve to. Move on without the chains of the past holding me back. I haven't heard from you in days. You've reached out a few times, but I haven't responded. I can't. Not anymore. I don't need any more closure from you. I've found my closure. I'm letting go, I say, almost surprised to hear myself say it out loud. It feels good. It feels right. I close my eyes, letting the finality settle in. This is it. There's no going back, and I'm not going to keep looking back anymore. I've made peace with my past. Now I'm ready for whatever comes next. The future is mine. And for the first time, I'm excited to see where it takes me.